We will continue the discussion of mixed methods by considering the question how to mix methods. This video introduces the different ways of combining methods, depending on priority and sequence. At the end of the video, we will return to the question of whether mixing represents a sensible research strategy and what are the dangers of mixed methods. Mixed methods can be divided considering two dimensions, sequencing and priority or relative weight. The sequence decision concerns which method precedes which, in other words, that whether the qualitative method follows or precedes quantitative one or vice versa. The second issue is relative balance between the two methods and a decision of whether qualitative or quantitative should be the principal method of data gathering. In addition, quantitative and qualitative methods can be used independently or interdependently, focusing on either one at the same research question or different research questions. Whichever design is chosen depends on the kind of research question asked and how the combinations of methods can bring added dimensions to research. Different textbooks offer different classifications of mixed methods, and I am using here one by Plano Clark and specifically 4 different mixed method designs: convergent parallel design, exploratory sequential design, explanatory sequential design, and embedded design. Convergent parallel design entails simultaneous collection of both qualitative and quantitative data with equal priority. The results of the analysis are often compared and merged to form integrated whole. This kind of design tends to be associated with triangulation, whereby the researchers compares findings from two methods with aim to offset weaknesses of either qualitative or quantitative methods. The research by Stiles, 2001, provides an example of use of this design. Exploratory sequential design involves collection of qualitative data prior to quantitative data. This design is found in projects where qualitative data helps to generate research hypotheses, which can then be tested, and in investigations where you develop a research instrument such as questionnaire on the basis of qualitative data. The research by Tripp et al. 2002 provides a good example of such a design. The explanatory sequential design entails the collection of quantitative data followed by qualitative data in order to corroborate or explain quantitative findings. The research by Truss or Holmberg provide good examples. In an embedded design, we have either qualitative or quantitative data dominating, but the researchers draw on the other perspective when they feel that the qualitative or quantitative research alone will be insufficient to understand the phenomenon of interest. In essence, either qualitative or quantitative data is used to offset weaknesses of the other approach. Eisenhardt, for example, has used questionnaires in a tokenistic fashion to enhance validity of case studies. When mixing, it is important to recognize that mixed methods are not always of benefit. What matters is the project, and you only use mixed methods if you feel that the end product is more than the sum of the individual quantitative and qualitative parts. This, however, may not always be the case. Bremen, 2006, for example, reviewed several mixed method articles to find that in many cases quantitative and qualitative elements have been barely integrated at all. Studies often emphasize one set of findings rather than the other, usually because the authors are biased towards one methodological position. Similarly, Giddings in 2006 argued that mixed methods are nothing more than positivism dressed in drag, rather than offering the best of both worlds. According to Giddens, mixed methods are firmly located in the thinking of positivism because they rarely reflect constructivism and subjective view of the world. For example, studies often frequently plan in detail and in advance, and strict procedures are being followed. Qualitative methodological designs that focus on meaning, symbolism, and power are typically marginalized. Whether you agree with these critiques or not depends in part on your allegiance to one of the 3 alternative schools of thought, shown here as purist, situationist, or pragmatist. Purists argue that quantitative and qualitative methods are mutually exclusive because they stem from different ontological and epistemological positions. By contrast, situationists maintain that both methods have value, but that certain research questions lend themselves to more quantitative or qualitative approaches. Situationists see quantitative and qualitative methods as potentially complementary, but representing fundamentally different epistemological traditions. Pragmatists, however, see the whole debate between the two approaches as false dichotomy, arguing that quantitative methods are not necessarily positivist and qualitative methods are not necessarily socially constructed. Pragmatists will argue for integrating methods given different strength of both methodologies. Sticking with purist or situationists, I will continue to argue that mixed methods are a bad PhD idea for several reasons. From a merely practical perspective, collecting quantitative and qualitative data can be time-consuming and it's difficult to get them both right. British academia is divided into two camps, and each believes that specialization matters. Mixing method will potentially expose you to criticism from all potential reviewers because nobody will agree with half of your dissertation. Puzzling or quite discrepant findings may emerge from your mixed methods, and these will add more complexity rather than validation and congruence. There is also the space argument. You have only 100,000 words in which to make your case. You simply have no space for two or more methods in your dissertation. Finally, a style argument. There are templates for writing qualitative studies and there are templates for writing quantitative studies. There are no templates for mixed methods, and such designs are very difficult to execute in a piece of academic writing.